Thank you, Raj, for that kind introduction. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here, my first time. So I'm looking forward for the next 2 days, and hopefully we'll learn a lot from each other. And by the way, I also love this setup. I mean, to the organizers, I mean, this feels like really home, huh? So congratulations. This story that I want to share with you, it wouldn't be possible without the full support of my management team. So today I'm a humble speaker to you, but this all work that I'm going to be sharing with you is the commitment of my team who really believe in what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it. So FIFCO is a small company that started in Costa Rica. And just to tell you a little bit of the history, so for over 100 years, we've been doing what we love to do the best, which is brewing beer. For all of you who like beer, this is home. And we're a public traded company, but even from its origins, it was inspired by the Costa Rican values, and some of that Raj was alluding to, for solidarity, for respect for the environment, for the economic progress, and of course for peace, which was so important for us in the region that we're coming from. Back in 2002, when I joined the company, we were over 1,800 people. We were the leader beverage company in Costa Rica, especially in the beer category. We were certainly passionate about winning, like I am pretty sure most of us here in this room are. But we dream big in a desire to go beyond economic success. So I like to put a lot of challenges to my team. And we were coming from, in 2006, I put the challenge to my team to double the size of the business in terms of profits and revenues, and which had taken the company 7 years in the past to accomplish that. And, really, one of my board members said, Ramon, why do you want to do that? I said, why not? This team that we have here, that we have assembled, is here for greater things. So in 2008, we were really celebrating that we have been able to double the size of our businesses in only 2 years. And we were number 1 and number 2 in every category which we started competing. And certainly our shareholders were very happy with the return on our investments as we really doubled the size of that business in such a period of time. However, something was really missing here. And if I look back, certainly we were not listening very well to all our stakeholders and what they were telling us, what should be a responsible company going forward. Basically, we were measuring our success in just one dimension. So I think in the 100 years of our company, in 2008, we made the most important and visionary decision we have ever taken in that history of the company, when we merged our business strategy with our corporate social responsibility, thus becoming what you know as a triple bottom line company, which means literally with the same rigorosity we be taking care of our financial success, we'll be doing the same thing with our social and environmental dimensions. And I would guarantee you, every business, no matter where you are, what industry you belong to, we all create social and environmental footprints. We're all clear on that. But the important thing is to recognize it and then do something about it to minimize them as much as you can. And I think I would argue with you that we as the business leaders, we need to evolve in the way we are doing business. We need to evolve from the traditional concept of capitalism that says, obviously, that we want to maximize shareholder value, right? We were taught that in our universities, at least I was, way back. But I think we need to evolve to what I call holistic capitalism, one that shares the value that we create among all stakeholders, and not just the shareholder. Of course, the shareholder would always be extremely important, but it's not the only one. So we, in this particular way, we can measure our success in a more holistic way, and certainly become a conscious company by doing so. But I think we're all here in this gathering, and I don't need to preach about this, because I know you deeply care about this. But when I go to many other conferences, believe me, this is not the standard way of thinking, right? This is a very unique group of people. But for me today, the most important thing is to share with you, which I hope you take some take-home value, which has been our experience, on the how we have been embedding this philosophy into our business. So I have this, what I call our recipe, that we sort of stumble along the way in our journey on learning through it. This recipe, of course, is not a recipe of my beer brand, which I will never, ever share with nobody. But this, I really wanted to share with everybody I can touch. And the most important thing, and you know it's part of the capitalism movement, for me it was the systematic dialogue that we need to do with all our stakeholders. And we do this every year, systematically. We learn from them what they expect from us as a responsible company. What can we do better? Certainly, number two is that you need to have the buy-in of your management team. Otherwise, forget it. It's not something to be delegated to a department, your corporate affairs department. It's something that every individual needs to believe in it. Third is to put goals, ambitious goals, not only economic, but social and environmental. The most important thing for me and my learning is to measure it. And I'll come back to that. And certainly report back to society. Because when you make public commitments to society, there's no way back. You probably don't know how you would accomplish all these objectives, but the one thing is true, once you go publicly and you made a commitment to society, and in my organization, a lot of my leaders criticize me for that. Say, Ramon, we don't know how we're going to get there. That's up to you to find out. I just said it. So now we're going to rally the organization. So in 2008, our stakeholders told us 4 things, if I can summarize it for you. The number one, and perhaps the most important social footprint, remember, we're a beer company, is the harmful use of alcohol. That was the number one concern for our society on how we were dealing as a responsible company. And then they told us 3 things on the environmental front. The waste. I see all your bottles floating in our rivers and beaches, especially the PET, the plastic. The water usage. You know, all you're trying to do is to take water away from our communities. I'm putting you to the extreme of the comments that we receive and the feedback that we receive from our stakeholders. And carbon emissions, of course, because of our manufacturing facilities, our distribution fleet. And we did that, of course, with all our stakeholders. We normally do consumers, we normally do employees, but this time around, in 2008, we went with all our stakeholders, including those who regulate us, like the shareholders, the congressmen, executive branch, suppliers, and so on. And here you can see that I like to have 3 objectives for each dimension. And in terms of social, we said we're going to change the way our consumers are enjoying our alcohol products. We're going to teach them on consumption patterns, because Costa Ricans, we drink almost 2 times a week, but every time we drink, we take 5 drinks, beer, spirit, doesn't matter. After 5 drinks, it leads to intoxication. And changing the consumption pattern, it takes over a generation. You cannot do it overnight. But we learned from an NGO in Canada called Educalcol, who taught us the way in how we could improve the consumption patterns, and we've been doing a lot of amazing progress on this. We would like, obviously, to be certified as a great place to work company. In the environment, we said in 2008, we will become a zero solid waste company by 2011. That means that we will not send any garbage bags anymore to our landfills. We said we'll become a water neutral company by 2012, and we will become a carbon neutral company by 2017. The reason we put the years in that order, it was the way our society was expecting from us what was more urgent than the other one. So I didn't know in 2008 how to become water neutral. I tell you bluntly, but we learn. We learn on how to address each of these objectives, and of course the economic ones, which we've always been there. And then the 4 things that we did, and for me this is the most important thing, is that we changed the way we were compensating our executives and leaders. Before 2008, you can imagine the variable compensation is extremely important for all of us, right? In my case, for instance, 60%. For all my direct reports, 50%, and then it goes down. But the important thing is that before we were measuring only economic KPIs, the usual ones, you know, the EBITDA or revenues, profit, market share, and so on. But we changed that from 60% from 100% to 60%, and then we introduced KPIs for the social on a 30% and environmental 10%. And I tell you one thing, when you really touch the wallet of your executives, then you see them acting upon. Most of the time, when I'm talking or engaging with other business leaders and they give me all these nice intentions that they have, say, show me your balance scorecard. I want to see how you're compensating your executives. And I tell you, very few companies have dared to change the way they measure their executives. And until you do so, then you will see that you're really committed to reducing your footprint, social or environmental. And certainly we report back to society. We do, with the Global Reporting Initiative standards, you know, every year the integrated report, we report at the same time our financial with our environmental and social initiatives. So this was the journey that we did into 2012. And then we entered a growth era very rapidly. We did 4 acquisitions in 18 months. We entered the spirit category. We entered the wine category. We entered the retail vertical integration, and we entered the US where we did an important acquisition in the States. And I think this is perhaps the second most important decision that we did. As a result of this expansion, we lost connection with our employees. And then we decided to go for the search of the higher purpose, and I heard today talking about this. This for us has been absolutely transforming because we ask ourselves, what is the reason that we are here? What is the reason why our employees will wake up every morning and come to work and do their very best? And we went through a search. It took us 3 days up in the mountains in Costa Rica to find really why FIFCO exists. What would happen if FIFCO doesn't exist? And at the end of the 3rd day, and we set up a team of 14 people who represents the diversity of FIFCO. Actually, it was an employee from our Buffalo office in New York who's put the words together. And when I saw that, I said, that's it. That's our purpose. We bring a better way of living to the world. Many times we spend in our companies a lot of time in mission, visions, strategies. They all hit in the minds. But the purpose, if you do it right, it hits right here in the hearts of your employees. And that's a tremendous difference. And I always said, if you have a higher purpose in your organization, and I ask every single of my employees, what is your purpose? You need to find your purpose, your personal purpose. And if that personal purpose synchronizes with the corporate purpose, that's where magic really starts happening. You may lose some people along the way, but that's okay. The important thing is that you remain with the ones that are really believing in what you're trying to do. And we intentionally have been engaging a lot of our leaders in that. We want our leaders to liberate and create all their potential individually. But when they have that opportunity, we want them to socialize it with the rest of the people, because I think by socializing the better ideas with a diverse group of people, that's where the magic really happening in terms of ideas, opportunities that you can foster. We love to give our opportunity to our employees to explore and learn, and certainly honor our commitments, always. And we work on growing our conscious culture, leading by our purpose and values, but also giving them the opportunity to co-create, collaborate across the diversity of our team. And I want to share this chart here, because this has been, in the last 3 years, the biggest transformation for us in the way we're leading our people. We're moving away from traditional hierarchy, you know, this is the way we're going to do it, to create these ecosystems in which we assemble teams of 8 to 10 people really to organize it to solve an output for us. And these groups are represented with diverse teams. You know, you probably, if you're from a tech company, you will see a lot of this. But in the consumer goods companies where we're coming from, we were used to lead our people from a structure point of view, a hierarchy point of view. So I think this is really a pathway forward to us, especially connects incredibly well with the new generations, the millennials and centennials, which already 55% of our population are in that group of age. So what were the results of this transformation? Coming from a caterpillar in the past, you know, a caterpillar which likes to eat a lot. You know, it seems like most companies wants to have a lot of profits, you know, extracting as much as they can from the planet and sometimes even from its own people. But I prefer to move in this side to the butterflies, because those butterflies are amazing creatures that shares the food with all the people around them. And I like to tend to think that, you know, it's the same way we need to evolve as business leaders from caterpillars to butterflies. So by 2008, all our commitments were achieved that I mentioned to you. And we moved from 1,800 to 6,000 employees. From Costa Rica, we went to Central and North America. We became a neutral with the environment, but also positive. Positive to the environment means we give back more to that environment that we take from it in terms of the natural resources. 8% of our net profits we invested in social strategic investment, not philanthropy. Strategic social investment. It means addressing our social and environmental footprints. So let me share you a little video of what our journey has been for us.
It fills us with pride when a Costa Rican-born company, along with its triple bottom-line strategy, positively impacts the economy, society, and the environment. We are proud of working for Costa Rica, Central America, and the US. Our employees come first. We are a certified Great Place to Work company. We are committed in eradicating poverty within FIFCO. It makes us proud to have the largest volunteer program with more than 800,000 hours engaging customers, suppliers, and consumers. We are a water, waste, and carbon positive company. We are proud of working for our planet. We recycle more than 90% of the bottles we place in the market, aiming at 100% recuperation, and looking for a solution for plastic with our Oceans initiative. We are FIFCO. We are driven by solidarity, the love for our planet, and making things right. Because together, we bring a better way of living to the world.
So what is next for us? So we certainly want to be one of the best companies to work in the world. That's our aspiration, to complete 1 million hours of volunteering with our stakeholders, engaging with our communities, smart consumption. We positive with our brands, recycling, and all that. I want to share with you 2 examples that I feel most proud. The first one is eradicating poverty within FIFCO. So 21% of our population live on poverty conditions in Costa Rica. And one employee in one of the gatherings when we were sharing the purpose says, "Ramon, I'm very proud of what you're doing. I see your commitments. But you know, there are people living on the poverty, and I'm one of them in this organization." And he said that in front of 3,500 people. And all of a sudden, you know, the whole audience went, you know, clapping and supporting him. And I said, "I'm so sorry to hear about your personal situation. And to be quite honest, I don't know how many of you out there are living under the same conditions. But I'll find out." So we ended up doing social workers, and 3.6% of our population were living on the poverty condition. Not because we pay bad salary, we pay very competitive salaries, but as human beings, we make certainly not the right decisions. So we could not live with that thinking. And what it takes the government 10 years to lift somebody out of poverty, we said, I don't have 10 years. We're going to commit to do a program, a comprehensive program, and leave every single employee of our organization living under those conditions. And I'm very proud to say that last year, we were able to lift everybody from the poverty. Now we're expanding the program to all our Central American operations and into the US. Let me share a video with you.
Since its establishment in 1908, FIFCO has been a company committed to the development and well-being of the countries in which we operate. Our corporate purpose, defined in 2014, reflects our commitment as a company and an active contributor of change in society. We bring a better way of living to the world. Aware that our associates live immersed in the social reality of the country they live in, we have developed this initiative aimed at eradicating poverty within our company. During the last 20 years, both poverty and social inequality have been on the rise. Today, 1 in every 5 Costa Rican households live under the poverty line, and 6.7% live in extreme poverty. In this context, FIFCO designs and implements FIFCO Oportunidades, FIFCO Opportunities, with the objective of eradicating poverty within its employees. Through public-private alliances, the company implements a comprehensive development model and seeks to increase the employees' capacities to avoid dependency on the program. The program provides opportunities to access 4 essential areas for human development and well-being: nutrition and healthy lifestyle, housing, education, and comprehensive financial management, always aiming to include as many families as possible in government options to generate less dependency for the program, refrain from duplicating efforts, and maximize positive impact in order to reduce inequality and improve the life conditions of our company's most vulnerable population. FIFCO commits to having its employees and families overcome extreme poverty conditions in 3 years. 3 years after launching the program, the first generation of beneficiaries overcame the extreme poverty condition that was initially diagnosed, meaning they no longer live in vulnerable conditions in terms of housing, education, or financial vulnerability. The private sector has a major challenge, that of complementing the government's efforts and work to construct a fair, more equitable society.
You can imagine the impact that that program had in that 3.6% of our population, but what we never ever realized was the effect on the 97% of the employees who saw the organization really taking care of that. And most of the time we tend to do these programs of eradicating poverty, let's leave it to the government. But you can imagine if we started in every single one of our organizations and do something about it, one company at a time, the impact that we could have, it could be amazing. The other example I want to bring it is on the recycling and the PT and all that I was telling you. Obviously, we've been embracing in recycling and many other initiatives that you see, but I have a big problem still unresolved. I need to eradicate the plastic from fossil as we know it today.
By 2050, there will be more plastic than fishes in the sea. We can follow this current, or we can swim against it. Only one idea is enough to break paradigms. A powerful idea that is born at FIFCO and makes a real change. Let us put an end to plastic as we know it. It's possible if we unite in transforming our reality today into life for tomorrow. In the last decade, FIFCO has carried out many actions to reduce the impact of our bottles. Lightweighting, which means reducing the amount of plastic in each bottle. Returnability of our bottles. Further endorsement for the use of glass. Use of recycled PET in 100% of our products. And of course, the goal of reaching 100% recycling of our bottles by 2020. However, the challenge continues. How do we keep the benefits of plastic without causing an impact to the environment? With a collaborative plan of action and a robust transformational team, we are innovating to find a new bio bottle made from natural elements such as sugarcane, which returns to the environment in a safe way. We seek to be one of the world leaders in the search for a definitive solution to this global challenge. To achieve this, we are making alliances with academic institutions, laboratories, leading companies, research centers and civil society organizations in different parts of the world. We all share the same goal: to find a bottle that is 100% natural and 100% compostable. A bottle that can dissolve and return to nature safely and in a short period of time. Because taking care of the sea is taking care of us.
2 weeks ago, I was given the first prototype by my management team on a 100% compostable product, and we will be launching the first product in July of next year. And this is a breakthrough for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a company, we're conscious about our footprints and our responsibilities. We're practicing. That's what I feel the most proud, because we are truly practicing a better way of doing business. And by doing that, we became a better version of ourselves as leaders. I always said, win the hearts of your employees, genuinely, and you would have their minds forever. Thank you very much.